What's up, my dudes? We got a little bit of Tomac versus Sexton out here, bro. Oh, man. Okay, boys. So, first things first, I have to explain what's going on with this video right here. So, the first half of it was made before Budds Creek. So it was kind of like a Unadilla recap, right? And then the second half of this video was made after watching Budds Creek. So we have a little bit of a twofer going on here, bro. The gameplay that you see on Unadilla, the audio of that was made before Budds Creek. And then when you get to the part of the video where it goes to the Budds Creek gameplay, that was made after Budds Creek. Interesting little video here. It's kind of like a recapping two different rounds in the same video. This Tomac Sexton battle is insane, so opinions are kind of going up and down and all over the place. It's kind of hard for me to just like upload a video like, you know, right around the time they're going to have like another round because everything can change, right? This has kind of been going all over the different motocross news and different channels and everything like that. Oh man, Sexton's like better than Tomac now, or Sexton's like taking over now. Well, technically, yeah, he did take the points lead back from Tomac, but this is really just one race, right? And don't get me wrong, I think Sexton is bad to the bone. He has had some struggles with crashing whenever he gets in the front. There has been more races to count that he should have won, or he was in perfect position to win and then has some little mistake out front and then didn't get it done. So, but at Unadilla, one of Tomac's, if not Tomac's worst track of the entire series, I don't think Tomac has ever won at Unadilla in the 450 class. Listen, like, Tomac is still Tomac. Flomac is still Bomac, okay? Like, Tomac is still wicked-ass fast. You know, just because we get to Unadilla, right? Super rough track, especially that first moto in the 250 class. It really wouldn't be all that crazy for Tomac to have basically said in the back of his head, like, what's really the reason for me to go out here and just push it to the absolute limit on a super sketchy, super rough Unadilla, like a damn armadillo's back, bro. Super rough, you know, Jet Lawrence getting kicked all over the countryside, right? So for Tomac, when it comes to the points, it's like, was there really a big reason for Tomac to push at Unadilla? He knows it's one of his worst tracks. He never, for some reason, can ever really figure it out at Unadilla, even though Tomac's still wicked fast, still got second place, both motos, right? If Sexton wouldn't have been there, it would have made Tomac look amazing. But my whole thing with all of this, and you know, yes, Sexton can still win the title, for sure. I think there's a lot of people thinking that Sexton has those last two motos of the series in the bag at the track that he's really good on at the final round. I may not necessarily 100% agree with that. I mean, it's possible, obviously, but I just find this to always be so funny, right? Anytime you have an underdog that finally, like, beats the big dog, you know what I'm saying? Like super fast guy like Tomac, right? It's like there's so many people out there that will automatically, I'm talking quicker than you can say Bob's your uncle, fucking pronto ASAP Rocky, they will instantly think that that underdog is all of a sudden better than the guy that he beat, right? For the first time, straight up, right? And you know, you can say beat for the first time straight up. I mean, yeah, you know, you got to think, though, with nationals, all these different tracks are so different. It's a lot different than, like, going to Supercross, even though there is some variables going from, like, Anaheim to Seattle to, you know, Arlington to whatever, there is some variation there, but I think there's even more variation going from the different motocross tracks and the different roughness, the different kind of braking bumps, different way the track breaks down, different kind of prep, right? And it may totally play into somebody else's sort of style on the bike, you know, super rough, you know, I don't know, there's something about Unadilla that's like got that crazy technical type vibe to it. And I think that just fits Chase Sexton a lot better. Same way with Washougal. Washougal and even more so, I feel like Unadilla is like a kind of real meticulous kind of rider type track, whereas Tomac is going to be a lot faster on the blow the fucking sand ruts out at Southwick. You know, all those wide openy, I would think of Tomac being more of a Redbud, you know, Southwick, Millville, you know what I'm saying? So, but my point being though is like, let's not get all out of our heads here. The only thing that Tomac has lost by you know, basically in a nutshell, Sexton beating him at Unadilla, the only thing Tomac really lost here, obviously he lost a little bit of points, but like, all he really lost was he's just giving a little bit more confidence to Sexton. You know, he's just boosting Sexton just a little bit more. Don't make me have to reiterate the past. It is still very possible for Sexton to absolutely wad his shit out front and crash to the point where he may not even race another race in one of these next, you know, 2 races. That is very, very, very possible, right? Sexton is certainly known for crashing out front. He happened to have one really good day. Obviously, he's had a few battles with Tomac this year, but like he happens to have a really good day on a track that I feel like really suits him. And I just feel like Tomac wasn't really going to push it on Unadilla, get up behind the roost, get all the rocks, you know, on a track that Tomac doesn't really feel that great at. I guess I just don't look at it as like miraculous that Sexton won or anything like that. I don't know. I just don't really look at it that way. I mean, it's like, I think it's more so like, not just that Sexton is that much faster than Tomac, or he would have been that much faster beating Tomac in all the other races. I don't really think that's what it is. I don't think it's like Sexton has finally worked himself to a point where he's just going to blow the doors off Tomac in every single other moto. I feel like that's genuinely where some of the fans are right now in their heads. They think that Tomac literally has been taken over and he's not going to be able to beat Sexton in any of the rest of the motos. Like, bro, no. Tomac won those 8 or 9 motos in a row for a reason, okay? The reason why they're so close in points right now is because Tomac had his couple little kind of semi-shitty races there at the start of the season, so he's had to work back from a big points deficit. That's why you're kind of having this, Sexton's kind of close to Tomac in the points right now, right? But, like, I promise you, when Tomac is on that Yamaha for Fatty, bro, like if you took away all the starts and the other riders and all that, and you just basically had it like 1v1 Tomac versus Sexton on these different tracks, I feel like Tomac, when he's on that Yamaha, he would be just straight up dominant over Sexton on at least 75% of the tracks or 80% of the tracks. But you're going to have those few tracks in there, like Washougal, like Unadilla, that are going to fit a guy like Sexton a little bit better. Okay, guys, so now we're at the point of the video to where we're crossing over into the after the Budds Creek round, right? Up until this point in the video, you've been hearing opinions that I said before Budds Creek. I actually said all that before Budds Creek. Just got done watching Budds Creek. So now we're going to talk about Budds Creek. You know what I'm saying, big dogs? Oh, man. So, okay. We get to Budds Creek. Sexton in the first moto basically does everything that I thought he would. He crashes early, front flips over the bike, crashes with another dude that crashed in front of him. I will give Sexton some credit. That second crash wasn't technically Sexton's fault, but him making the first crash kind of put him back in that position to have the second crash. But Tomac goes out there with the paddle tire, whoops their ass in the first moto. Second moto comes around. Everything switches. Everything flip-flops back around. This is where I don't agree with this weird opinion that a lot of people have. They had this even back before the Budds Creek round. A lot of people were thinking that Tomac and Sexton were going to go 1 or 2 the rest of the motos of the year. And I didn't really think that, especially now that you're getting tighter to the championship. People are just going to start riding different. Sexton's never been in this position before. You know, I'm not like a subscriber to the thought of Sexton and Tomac's going to go 1-2 at the rest of the rounds, like Budds Creek, Ironman, and Fox Raceway or whatever. I didn't really think that. I never really thought that. I know there's a shitload of people out there that just assumed that, but I never really thought that. I knew we was going to have some rounds in here where one of these guys was going to get like a 4th or a 5th or a 7th or a whatever, and that's going to change up the points a lot, you know? Everybody's thinking it's going to be like, Tomac's going to go 1-1 at Budds Creek, you know, Sexton's going to go 1-1 at the final round. I just don't, I don't know. I don't look at it that way. But anyways, so we get to Budds Creek. Tomac gets the first moto. Get to the second moto. Sexton goes out there and again does what I said at the start of this video. He crashes out front. He passed, like, I think Anderson, Tomac, Smithy boy drunk as fuck right now. He passes, let me think of what I just watched like 5 seconds ago. Sexton, I know he passed Dungey. I don't know. He got up to the front. Then he goes down or has a little bobble in the corner or whatever. Then Dungey and Anderson gets back around him. Then he passes them two boys again. So now Sexton's back in the lead. Tomac is like stuck in 5th to 8th place or some shit. The paddle tire did not work at all in that second moto. The track was kind of different, you know. It got a lot rougher, a lot ruddier. It wasn't that like softer kind of dirt that you can really plow those corners out with that paddle tire. I think that paddle tire is very specific on the situations that it works in, you know what I mean? And I think that's where you're getting that inconsistency out of Tomac right now, because typically Tomac's a dog on that rough, ruddy, late second moto, dry. Typically Tomac can blow him out of the water on that, but that just didn't happen in that second moto. Tomac basically just stayed back there in 5th. So even though with Sexton having all those crashes, all those moments, all that shit, they're basically still right there together in the points. This is crazy. I still stick to everything I said at the first half of this video. I still believe Sexton has a big problem when he gets in the front with crashing out front, and I think that's just going to get worse. I only think that's going to get worse as they get closer and closer to the end of that championship, and the points get to matter and more, and that pressure starts to build. I just feel like Sexton is one of those guys that all of a sudden he can just, you know, wad his shit up. So I'm still going to give the championship to Tomac. I still believe Tomac's going to get it done. That was a little surprising in that second moto to not really see Tomac pass Dungey, not really get around some of those guys. But again, I think that paddle tire, it's doing some weird shit where Tomac's kind of maybe taking the safer route with the paddle tire, thinking he's going to get a better start. And then that may do pretty good for him in the first motos, but then he gets to that second moto where it's rougher, drier, harder packed, and I don't think it's playing out for him, you know what I mean? But when he has such a good first moto on the paddle tire, I think it kind of tricks Tomac and the team that, well, shit, why wouldn't we run this tire again on the second moto? But that's where they're getting tricked up right now. You know, I feel like if Tomac would have ran that paddle tire in the first moto and then ran more of like a normal tire in the second moto, it would have been like a totally different situation, but that's not what happened. So, but anyways, Sexton pulled through. Got to give a lot of credit to Sexton. He could have gave up. A lot of times he was just sitting there on the ground like, what the hell? Luckily, Sexton didn't injure himself in any of those crashes, mind you. That very easily could have happened in that first crash that he had where he flipped over the bars, but luckily, that didn't happen to Sexton, and I still believe Tomac's going to get the championship. That's just me. I feel like Tomac's been in more situations like that. He knows what the pressure's like. This is Sexton's first time. I don't think you've seen the end of the crazy crash and blunders from Sexton. I don't think you've seen the end of that yet. I think him doing all that in the first moto was just kind of the start of it, but I don't know. I don't mean to like put bad shit on Sexton here, but I think once the pressure builds and you get a little closer to that final round, I really don't know if Sexton can hold on to it. You know what I mean? I just don't know if he can hold on to it when the pressure is really there. It's a lot easier for Sexton to come out on that second moto of Budds Creek. It's almost like nothing to lose, really, because he lost so many points in the first moto, he's not really protecting anything anymore. It's like, okay, you can come out here and win Moto 2, or you can pretty much lose the championship, you know? So it's kind of a do or die, nothing to lose, might as well do it kind of thing for Sexton. But again, everything changes when these boys get in the points lead of the 450 class, especially for their first championship. Everything changes. So now they're like really close in points again. I think Sexton's like one back or something like that. They're really close in the points again. I just feel like Tomac, at the end of the day, he's had more experience. I just think he's going to be better championship-wise. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my personal opinion. So, either way, man, I appreciate you guys watching all the videos. I won't drag this one out anymore. This is a cool little two-part video, you know, kind of twofer video, recapping 2 different races. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll be getting these videos rocking again. We'll be getting them rolling again. I appreciate all the support. See you boys on that next one. Later, dudes.